Hey there, I'm Steve, and welcome to Jamsin Entertainment. And welcome to the conversation. Just before we get started, there are many ways you can help. You can like and subscribe so you never miss the conversation. But most importantly, please share this video. Get the word out there. There's a community where we can talk about all the things that we love. Today on Throwback Thursday, we're looking at Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. So this is the second time I've seen the movie within 25 years. I watched it about a week ago. I was like, wow, this movie is way different from what I remember as a kid. Let's review it. Obviously, my parents had no idea what Ace Ventura Pet Detective was. They thought, like me and my brother, and probably most everyone else back then, thought that this was a kid's movie. Jim Carrey, he's goofy, he's funny, he makes crazy voices. It's kid stuff. No. Ace Ventura Pet Detective is an adult comedy, and wow. But this is some evidence towards Don Bluth's theory that you can show a kid just about anything and they'll be perfectly fine. Who's Don Bluth if you don't know? He's the creator of many great movies such as Secret of NIMH, Land Before Time, and The American Tale. And his movies are normally pretty dark and they're always meant for kids. And I watched them, I was just fine. And my brother and I watched Ace Ventura Pet Detective and we were just fine. All the adult humor went over our head, and we got to see Jim Carrey be a cartoon before he was a cartoon. That's the best way to describe this comedy. It's a live-action cartoon. Yeah, sure, you have your slapstick out there, but I don't know, I can't remember if Jim Carrey's ever been described this way. But he's like a rubber man. He's a rubber man, which means he's very flexible and he can contort himself. And I know a little bit about Jim Carrey growing up. As a kid, he always wanted to be a comedian, and he always liked doing voices and being goofy, and so part of that is that he would contort his face in as weird and as flexible as he could get it, and that's how we get the comedy that is Jim Carrey. And that's what makes this a cartoon. Live action though. So if you don't know the story of Ace Ventura, he's a pet detective. Duh, I'm being a little redundant there. So this centers around the football team, the Dolphins, and it's Super Bowl season. But their mascot, Snowflake, gets stolen, and the whole movie revolves around that. I won't go into too much detail, not so much because of spoilers, but just watch it for yourself. It's part of the adult humor, and even though I don't make these for kids, I try to keep this family friendly. So much more makes sense now. All the jokes that I didn't quite get, but I laughed at them anyway because Jim Carrey was being goofy, make a whole lot more sense, and they're even funnier. There are some jokes in here that aren't as funny as they were when I was a kid, but not many. This still gets a few good laughs. It's not a gut buster like it used to be when I was a little, well, not a little kid. I was 9. Wasn't that little, but when I was a kid, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, these guys were just funny, and they weren't just like verbally funny, they were physically funny. They were great at like comedy across the board. I thought this was Jim Carrey's breakout movie, and it turns out it's not. It's just a movie that made him famous. I want to check out more of his older movies and his older roles, because he played some small roles in other movies I wasn't even aware of. The Deadpool, for example. It's a Clint Eastwood movie, and no, not that Deadpool, but could you imagine Jim Carrey as Deadpool? As a movie, I still love Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. I have not seen the sequel. It's been almost 30 years. God, I feel old, even though I'm not old. I'm in that weird age range. 35. You're not young, you're not old. Haven't seen the sequel. That's going to be the next review. This should be interesting, because who knows? It could be really funny. It could suffer from sequel-itis. Sequel-itis is doing the same thing over again and just putting number 2 next to it. I bought a Blu-ray collection pack, and that's how I would suggest you get it too. I mean, you could get them separately if you wanted to on Blu-ray, but it's just easier especially if you like physical media like me, it's a whole lot more convenient to have two movies in one, and it fits on the shelf nice and easily. You don't have to put 1, 2, it's just one and done. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on Ace Ventura, and please don't spoil it for me, but what is When Nature Calls like? Is it a good comedy? Is it something to look forward to, or should I cringe a little? I don't know. Just let me know your initial thoughts. If you like what you saw, like it. If you think other people like it, share it. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and live your imagination.